Welcome to RetroLogic. I'm Dan Caporello here with John Cummins and Sam Wagers, and our very, 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 very special guest for this episode is Bill from one of our favorite podcasts, A Gamer Looks at 40. So thanks for coming on today, Bill.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Is this your first RetroLogic?
This is my first RetroLogic. Yeah, I've been listening for a while, obviously, but never had the chance to jump on, and I'm glad I got the call up. I appreciate it.
Why did it take us so long? I don't know. I lose track of stuff. There's like a bunch of people that I'm promised guest spots for that just never got around to. I'll have to make a list at some point.
I'm bad at that too, trust me. I know how it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, your guest list is like 10 miles long because you're constantly calling on them. But RetroLogic isn't just a podcast, Bill. Did you know that it's also a whole community of retro gamers?
It sure is.
Yeah, we've got an active, friendly, free Discord community that has giveaways and contests, and you can dive into our family of retro podcasts like RetroGroove, a music-based history podcast, and On Topic Retro, a podcast dedicated to one video game per episode, hosted by our very own Jonathan Cummins. And you can find everything at our website, retrologic.games. And don't forget FilmLogic, also a community-run podcast, FilmLogic. Guys, tell me one thing that happened to you this week, gaming-related or not. And we'll start with Bill, because he's our guest. What's something that happened this week, Bill?
So I guess gaming-related, I realized, once again, I'm old. The age is catching up with me. Yeah. Age is not just a number. It's a feeling. It's an ache. It's pains. It's also when you play Horizon Forbidden West and realize that you're just not good enough to play these games anymore. I've been dabbling with Horizon Forbidden West for like the last few months or so, in between Zelda, constant Zelda. And last night I played. I get an hour and a half worth of time. And if you're a parent, you understand that an hour and a half of time is an ocean.
That's
like
golden.
That is an ocean of time. If I'm not making progress with that hour and a half, something's wrong. Like this is a problem. I can't waste that time. So I'm playing Horizon Forbidden West. I'm at a point where, again, robot dinosaurs, etc., and I'm just getting wrecked over and over and over again. And I had that moment. I'm like, an hour and change in. I have to make progress. I can't waste this golden hour and a half worth of time. So I had to kick it down to easy.
That's what I was going to say.
Had to do it.
Play
had
on
to
easy
kick it down
mode.
to easy.
Who cares?
You know what? I normally don't, but for some reason, because I played Horizon Zero Dawn and I had no problem on normal, but I guess I was maybe 4 years younger, and then 4 years makes a difference, I suppose. I don't know. Or maybe they made this game harder. I don't know. I kicked it down to easy, defeat the giant dinosaur. I was very happy. And then I threw like a water bomb at another thing and it exploded instantly. And I'm like, oh, this is fun. Yay. I throw water bombs at monsters and they explode. Now I'm in my happy place. So I'm on easy. I've decided. I gave it the good old college try, as they say. But, so that was what I did this week. I realized I have to remember the easy mode is always there, and it's okay. It's not a bad thing.
It's okay.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
And if you're our age, you don't have time to get good anymore. So
no. I gotta get done. I'm running out of literal time.
If it's a game that I'm not already good at, like I did Breath of the Wild, then I did the Master Mode, but like the Master Mode wasn't that hard if you already memorized the map. It's just like, oh, cool, like the next difficulty. But also that game's very good at like respecting your time and giving you things to do if you have 10 minutes or 10 hours.
Yeah.
Awesome. What about you, John? One thing that happened this week?
Well, let's see. Probably the biggest thing is the Tears of the Kingdom stuff that was announced and released like that day. Like Nintendo basically did like the Jetsons intro where like I go to pull some money out to buy the game and they just take my whole wallet. Because I bought like everything that they announced.
The special edition, the Amiibo, and the Switch OLED.
I had the Amiibo. I've been waiting. I missed the special edition when it first got thrown out there, and I've been just waiting for it to drop again. And then they announced the OLED model Switch and the Pro Controller, so I bought both of those. I was going to buy the Pro Controller anyway, but since my OLED Switch is giving me some fits, I figure I'll just do a tradesy. for that one. And then like 2 days later, the special edition came back in stock on Amazon, so I bought it. Not my favorite place to shop for games, but it works.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Good deal. What about you, Sam?
Yeah, I got a pre-order in for the OLED too, so I will finally upgrade from my day one Switch.
Wow.
I have actually never replaced hardware. I have never replaced a console. I've always just bought one console. The Switch is also the first console I bought launch day. The Wii was kind of close. That was like a year later. It was mostly because I couldn't find one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that happened. I also finished 2 games in the last 24 hours.
Hey!
So that's fun when that lines up like that. So I just finally got the credits from the epilogue of Octopath Traveler 2, which was a very long game. I'm not entirely done with it because there's some post-game stuff, some optional quests I want to do. And I also finished my stream of Mega Man Battle Chip Challenge. Just in time for the collection to come out, the Battle Network collection, which doesn't have that game on it, which is why I played it before the collection came out.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That was a whole thing with your Battle Network games.
Still going.
Yeah.
Battle Network 3 is next.
Man, when does the collection come
Battle
out?
Chip Challenge should be after 3. It comes out next week.
When?
Is it 12th or 14th?
I think it's the 12th.
Maybe the 12th.
It's next week is what I
it's
remember.
next week?
I'm buying it, so.
There's guys, I had to go in. This was my thing. I logged into Best Buy because that's where I buy all my games. And I added a bunch of games to my cart that I needed to pre-order, like Zelda
14th.
and April 14th.
Yeah, 14th, Friday next week.
Tears of the Kingdom and Advance Wars and Pikmin 4 and Dokapon Kingdom Connect. And then I went to check out
the games.
Yeah, and it was like $250 or something, and I was like, this is just 4 games. Why is it as much as a console? So I had to take some stuff out. Pikmin 4 I'm going to get, but I decided that's in July and I can come up with more money.
Yeah, you got some time
between now and then. So I just did Advance Wars because I need to support anything Nintendo does for Advance Wars so that they keep doing that. And
Tears by 3, man.
Yeah, and Tears of the Kingdom just because it's right around the corner. And it was tough taking the pre-order off of Dokapon Kingdom because I feel like that's going to be hard to find after launch. It's just not a game that
if it's anything like the Wii,
it's got a cult following. It's got a cult following, so I might have to scrounge up some cash and try to pick that up next month, or pre-order it when I get the money.
With the Switch printing money right now, every time I think that a game is going to be hard to find, you just wait a few months and it's everywhere.
It just depends, man.
So many of them.
It depends. I mean, the weird thing is everybody was freaking out about Metroid Prime Remastered, but it's guys, there's definitely going to be a lot more of that game in stock. I don't know why everybody's freaking out. That's a first-party Nintendo developed and published IP that they have been investing in. They're not going to undersell it.
Notwithstanding, most people aren't collectors, and if they can't find it physically, they'll just buy the digital version.
Yeah, that's true too. So, Yeah. Anywho, let's do a little bit of housekeeping for the RetroLogic stuff that's happening around the horn. Spidershan posted his Final Fantasy Mystic Quest retro review on the website. This is a game that he adored as a kid, so it's a really heartfelt review, really, really great read. If you have put your nose up at Mystic Quest before, I urge you to read the review and see if maybe you want to give it a shot, because it sounds really fun. Sam, tell us what's going on in your world with streaming and blogging.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I finished up Battle Chip Challenge on the stream. There will not be a Mega Monday stream next week. I'll be out of town for work. It will probably... I'll be out for 2 weeks, actually. The following Monday, I will actually, hopefully, be at Super Mario World at Universal Studios because I'm taking some time off after the work trip.
Nice.
Very nice.
Happens to be in California.
So fun.
So jealous right now.
That'll be fun.
Which wristband are you going to get?
Oh, I have not thought that far ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Probably Luigi.
Got it.
Luigi.
Solid.
Solid choice.
Yeah, as for the blog, stay tuned. I will be making a follow-up game from across the multiverse. It's a series. So I've been working on that.
I love those.
If you thought Spidershan's review was too bland because it's a game that actually exists, then I'll lay something else on you.
Those images from the AI generated images from the last Zelda one are just uncanny, just crazy.
You should have seen the ones that didn't make the cut.
I know. You need to do like a blooper reel of those on like a post on the blog and be like, "Here's what
I've been saving more of them so far."
That's great. Awesome. All right, John. What have we got going on in the On Topic world and Retro Rewind land?
Well, last week we just put out an episode on Metroid Prime. I felt it was due since we just got the remaster out, and we haven't done it yet, so it seemed to fit right in there. We're also we just finished up playing Wave Race 64 for Retro Rewind. Should be recording the episode for that this week. The winner of the Retro Rewind Champions was Bozo from the community.
Hey!
Time that was
Yeah, it was insane.
I think like 1 second away from the record.
Dang.
I looked it up. Speedrun.net has a leaderboard for that course, and he was like 1 second later than like their fastest.
Wow. It's impressive.
So, yeah, he easily took it out of our community's times there.
Heck, good. Heck.
It's so good.
So the deal this time for Retro Rewind Champions is basically a high score attack. Whoever can submit the highest score throughout the month. So basically, as you complete a course, you get points throughout the course, and then they add up, and there's a total at the bottom. It just keeps adding up until you beat the game. So basically, at the end, whoever has the highest score submitted. You don't have to beat the game to submit. You can, however far you get in the game, whatever the last level you beat, you can submit that as your score. So that will be the next contest.
It's a challenging game. There's some bosses in there that really will push you to your limits. But the game itself is just a joy. I mean, just a bizarro like all the different power-ups you can get, like spreading the head and like multi-head and stuff like that, and then
it's definitely treasure.
It's crazy, and it's all kind of set in like I guess it's set on like a stage or something, like Mario 3 style in a way, but it's all very apparent. It's just
weird enough.
It's just
weird enough.
Yeah, it's just weird enough, and it's just a dream to play because it's treasure developed. So it's one of my favorite Sega Genesis games. I'm really glad that it won. Everybody can experience some Dynamite Heady. We've got FilmLogic, who is doing an Oscars and Rise, Roar, Revolt episode. So go check that out. And then over at RetroGroove, their latest episode is all about Busta Rhymes. Which is going to be cool. And actually, I'm going to be a guest on RetroGroove coming up, so I'll leave the topic lingering. But if you've been listening to me talk about anything music related lately, you might be able to guess what I'm going to talk about. Anywho, Bill, why don't you tell us what is going on with A Gamer Looks at 40? What recent podcast stuff are you working on over there?
Yeah, so I just finished up the 7-month-long Zelda retrospective.
Amazing.
Which went exactly 4 months longer than I thought it was going to. Boy, oh boy, did that thing keep going on and on. Our wonderful Dan, of course, joined me for a number of those episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Especially Wind Waker, of course. And so this week, the final episode was released. Going forward, I have some kind of more I call them like short form interviews where I just talk with one person for more traditional 45-minute, hour-long interviews. I have an interview with the gentleman who does Classic Gaming Quarterly. We talk about like content creation, his start with games, that sort of thing. Brett Weiss, who's well known in the retro gaming community. I've chatted with him for a while. Starting to work on scheduling a conversation with the editors from EGM, another conversation with those guys, Greg Sewer, CJ, and Dan Shu. So we're going to do another one of those recordings. It's kind of just setting up for maybe 3 or 4 months worth of stuff. And in the meantime, I'll be working and beginning interviewing for the next big series, which is Final Fantasy. The Final Fantasy series is going to start in probably late July, early August. I have a couple of holes to fill in. I have to play a few of the games before I talk about them. I have a few holes in there, mainly 8, 9, and 12 I have to finish.
Easy. Yeah,
just blow right through them.
Just a breeze.
I got nothing else better to do in my life.
4 60-hour games.
It's
12 is a monster.
I started 12 and I bounced off of it, but I have the remastered version.
Oh, good.
That evidently fixes a lot of the
12 is
license board and stuff that I wasn't a fan of.
12 is good. Play Zodiac Age for sure.
Yeah, that's the version I have. I tried to play the original and I bounced off pretty quick.
Yeah.
Again, getting a license to use gear was very strange for me, and I'm like, that's not fun. I picked up a sword. I want to use this. Why do I need a license to hold the shield in my hand? This makes no sense. But anyway, so I got that 8 and 9. I have to, because I was not a PlayStation kid. I never had those games, and those are probably the big 3 I gotta like really go through. So. But that's really kind of what's happening now. So coming up over the next few months are going to be a series of kind of short interview kind of things. I'd like to do an episode on Earthbound that I'm kind of starting to schedule for like a proper traditional A Gamer Looks at 40 episode with lots of voices talking about Earthbound.
I got your guy here if you need another one.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, Sam is a.
I mean, I do have an Earthbound background floating behind me on the video.
You do, yeah.
He just completed streaming all the games too, not too long ago.
Nice.
Yeah, that's true. Including Mother 3 with fan translation.
Very cool. We'll have to hook up and talk about your experiences with Earthbound. But yeah, so that's really kind of what the situation is for the next few months. Are just
so basically
kind of one-off interviews and
in summation, you're a crazy person. You're an absolute madman. I don't know how. I don't know how much. Like I put a fair amount of. We all collectively put a fair amount of work into this show, and it just feels like such an undertaking constantly. But you're putting out like highly edited and like collected information from each individual interview and putting them in the right places, and the amount of editing you do to me is just bananas. And it's a joy to listen to. Like the end product is amazing.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate it.
Kudos.
Again, there's 3 of us. And one of you.
I am literally doing all of this by myself. Just to give you some context, the most recent Zelda episode, which was on Breath of the Wild and going forward, the opening 7 minutes, which is the intro, this is not a flex, this is just an example, took 3 hours to do. It took me 3 hours to do 7 minutes of audio because I have to go through YouTube, find clips, put them together, throw them into the thing, edit them, write the script. So I am a crazy person.
Yeah, you are.
I'm literally insane. And I don't know why.
In the membrane.
I don't know where you find the time.
I don't know either. I don't sleep. That's why I'm up till 12:30, 1 o'clock every morning. And the kid wakes up at 6:30.
No.
And I run off of 5.5 hours every day. That's what I do.
Yeah, you're an insane person. Bill, I love your podcast. I don't envy the amount of work you put into it, but it certainly shows. Fun, so good.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Good on you. Yeah, for sure, man. Let's go play a game called The Price is Retro. If this is your first time playing The Price is Retro, here's how we play. I'm going to list off 4 or 5 games, and everyone else has to guess how much the lot is worth in total. Whoever's the closest to the actual value wins that round. Everyone has a list, and everyone guesses on each other's lists, and at the end, the player that won the most rounds wins the episode. But watch out for the robot, Deus Guess Machina. He averages all of our guesses together for his own guess, and if he wins, I never did make the stickers, did I? I need to make the stickers. We designed the character. We just got to make the stickers. Then we can give him away when he wins. So, Bill, this being your first show, your guest, you have the honor of either going first or you could just go where I put you.
Or deferring. I'll go first. I don't mind. Right. So I know y'all usually do a theme of some sort, and since in honor of the Zelda series that just concluded, I thought I would do a list of Zelda games I've never finished. So these are games that I've started but never finished. And there are 4 games. These are all complete in box. So the first one is Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link on NES. Second is Wind Waker for the GameCube. Third is Phantom Hourglass. Oh, sorry.
Did you say these were all complete in box?
Yes, all complete in box. Third is Phantom Hourglass for the DS. And then fourth is Minish Cap for GBA. Okay. And these are all complete in box.
All right. So I'm going to go first. I'm going to go first. And I'm going to say, oh gosh. I'm going to say 450.
Okay.
You took my guess. So I'm going to go 480.
Well, I'm going to go low. I got 350.
All right. Well, the correct answer is 494.56.
Ooh. Is that me?
494. Yeah.
All right.
No, that was me. I would guess 480.
Oh.
I'm glad you took my guess.
Bad at paying attention.
Forced me to move up.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, super close. Super close, I think, right? Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, good job, John. Hold on.
Thanks to Sam for bringing the robot down.
Yeah, for real.
You're welcome, I guess.
I gotta pull my notes up here. Sorry, I've been winging it since we started. So next up, I'm gonna go next, actually. Okay. So, these are all Paper Mario games. Have fun. Okay, so Paper Mario Color Splash for the Wii U, complete in box. I was about to tell you the price, but
don't tell me the price.
That's not how we play this game. That's
easiest game ever.
I know, yeah.
Color Splash.
Color Splash, yeah. Paper Mario, Super Paper Mario for the Wii, complete in box. Paper Mario for the N64, complete in box, and Thousand Year Door for the GameCube, complete in box. And John's going to be the first guesser.
Let's see. I think I'm going to go 400.
Okay. And Sam?
I've got 325.
Okay. All right. And Bill?
And I'm going to say even 300. Now, mind you, I'm not a collector, so I'm literally just guessing completely. I don't collect things, so this is going to be very entertaining. I'm going to guess like 300.
Sometimes not knowing is your friend in this game, because knowing too much can send you in the wrong direction.
Thinking is the problem.
But John actually takes this one again because the total price is $472.98.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's the big ticket on it has to be the
4.
Yeah, it has to be, right?
I'll start there. The Paper Mario is $294 complete in box.
Man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that much, but
Nintendo 64 boxed has shot up a lot. And Wii has actually gone down because Super Paper Mario is only 17. And that used to be like 30. Color Splash is a surprising 61.14.
Ooh, okay.
And then Thousand Year Door is 100 even. Which actually that came down a smidge as well, but Color Splash I think is the biggest surprise here.
Yeah, I kind of pegged it around $50.
Yeah.
60. Wii U games are starting to travel, man.
Yeah, I know. I gotta finish off my collection before things get out of hand, even more out of hand. Okay, well, somebody's got to tie your 2 wins here, but it's your turn, so you can't win this round. Oh.
All right, so first game on my list is Front Mission DS, complete in box.
Love Front Mission DS.
The second game is Heroes of Mana DS, complete in box.
Okay.
The third game is Hoshigami, Ruining Blue Earth for the DS, complete in box.
What is that?
These are all tactics games for the DS.
Heroes of Mana is a tactics game?
Yeah, roundabout. Yeah, it's more tactics than it is RPG.
Okay.
The last game is Blue Dragon Plus for the DS, complete in box. Tactics, strategy, around that.
Sure.
Just try not to use Advance Wars.
I get you. Yeah. No, there's a lot of strategy games on the DS, actually.
Oh, there's a ton of them, yeah.
It's my turn to guess
Sam
first,
you're the first guesser.
All my guesses seem close together and they're always wrong, but I feel like if I budge now, I'm gonna regret it. So $333.
Okay.
Very good. And then Bill?
I was gonna make my guesses based the longest name being the most expensive. I think that's probably my strategy is gonna be in that.
That's actually a good strategy.
I'm gonna say I'm still gonna undercut it though. I'm gonna say 290.
Okay.
My guess is 300, and if it's around any of our guesses, we're in Ex Machina territory because we're all pretty close. So, I guess 300.
Okay. All right. The total of my lot is $164.56.
Oh,
Much
Bill!
lower.
So Bill gets it.
Bill taking a point.
Right. I'll take it. Fantastic.
Nice.
So Front Mission is actually the most valuable one on the list here, coming in at $60.17.
Okay.
Followed by Hoshigami is $45.59, and then Blue Dragon Plus is $43.33, and then that leaves the lonely Heroes of Mana, which you can get for $15.
Really?
Essentially, yeah, $15.47.
I gotta pick that up.
It's a
Nice.
pretty good game. I think a lot of people are steered away because of its. Usually those games are action RPGs, but
Yeah. You know what? I have no memory
kinda
of
hangs
playing
up.
Secret of Mana. I'm not gonna miss it. Okay, that leaves Sam.
It's been a while since I did one of these.
Been a while.
You know the thing. I've got Bug for the Sega Saturn, complete in box, followed by Bug 2 for the Sega Saturn, also complete in box. 2 Human for the Xbox 360, complete in box. Human Cannonball for the Atari 2600, loose this time. And lastly, Cannonball Blitz for the VIC-20,
What
loose.
in the world? Why you got to put all weird stuff in there?
It's my turn to go
follow
first.
the
That's
words, okay?
Yeah, it is actually Bill's turn to go first.
Oh, did I already go first once?
Yeah, you went after me when I went.
Oh.
Yeah. I have a system.
gonna-
It's the people screens that order they're in on my screen. So it's yeah.
I got to do addition now and all this. I tell you.
I know, man. Haven't had to do audition since high school.
I mean, listen. All right. I know a podcast that could be clicking on a calculator on the keys there. I'm gonna say 270. 270.
Okay.
My guess.
270.
Okay, that's
All
an
right.
impressive guess because mine's 250.
Okay. I'm going 300.
Oh man,
70, 250, 300.
we're in
Well,
Ex Machina territory again.
you are all high, so Dan takes it with the lowest guess at 250. The total is 126.79.
Really?
Man.
Wow.
Yep.
I would have thought those Saturns
Big
would be
funny
better.
and, yeah.
So Bug for the Sega Saturn, $43.59. Bug 2 for the Sega Saturn, $53.46. 2 Human for the 360, $7.06. Cannonball Blitz. Well, they're out of order now. Anyway, Cannonball Blitz for the VIC-20, $15.71. And Human Cannonball for the Atari 2600, $6.97.
So am I overestimating how much those games are worth? Because I figure old, and I guess that's a thing in collecting, right? Old doesn't mean rare or valuable, right?
No, not at all.
Is that kind of where
cheap? I thought the money was going to be in the Saturn.
There just aren't that many people. There aren't that many people interested in Atari anymore.
Interesting. Okay. See, I always, me not being a collector, I always assume, if it's older, it must be more valuable, but clearly not.
No.
Interesting.
Found the only 2 Saturn games that are under $100, I think. Complete in box.
Yeah, maybe some sports games. John, you took the win, but kudos to Bill for pulling out a point. You know,
I love it.
Hey, broken clock is right twice a day, right?
Exactly, especially when you're guessing numbers.
And Dan, you already owe somebody a sticker because the robot has already won.
I know. I just haven't made him yet. I haven't even
third episode in.
Yeah. Well, we'll do it. We'll do it someday. My solemn vow is that it will happen eventually in the history of mankind. Awesome, good stuff. We have a guest game from is this Ambassador? Usually is.
Yes.
Yeah, Sam, take it away.
It is. This is a game he submitted once before, but he's got a new topic, a new theme for it this time. So this is called Niche Please. He basically wants us to match. Actually, for those of us that have it, it is if you have this. He sent it to all 3 of us.
Do I have to look at something? I can actually
just copy that into the host chat because it's matching the description to the game.
Got it. Okay.
So it probably helps to have that. I will drop that in the host chat so Bill can see it. This is just the first one, not the answer key.
Don't give him the answers.
Okay. So
nobody should look at the answers yet.
What we'll do, Sam, why don't we read the first one and we'll try to match it?
I think the way we did this last time, I'll read the games and then we'll read the descriptions and try to guess which game it is. Yeah. So the theme here is plumber-free kart racers, I believe. So our games that we have to match are A, Motor Tune Grand Prix, B, Garfield Kart Furious Racing, C, Jack Racing X, D, Crash Tag Team Racing, E, Super Bombad Racing, F, Konami Crazy Racers, G, Mod Nation Racing, H, Shrek Kart, and I, Sega All-Stars Racing.
I really liked Mod Nation. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
And I think Garfield Kart is Furious Racing.
Furious, yeah. I guess, yeah, that sounds right to me. So the first one is the description has a racetrack level based on a light gun shooter game and a fantasy beat 'em up game.
Okay, so probably Sega because I don't know what Motor Tune is, and Crash wouldn't have a light gun.
All-Stars.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess. I think Sega All Stars because it's the only property here. Maybe Konami.
Well, I'm looking at number 2. That's Konami.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Number 2 says Gray Fox and Dracula are playable characters.
Okay,
yeah, that's gotta be.
So number 1 has to be Sega because light gun themed.
We'll say Sega for number 1 unless we find a better match for it.
Okay. And then
number 3.
Number
2.
Yeah,
I already read.
Recap
Gray Fox and Dracula playable characters.
Konami
That's
Crazy.
Got to be Konami Crazy Racers.
Yeah, got it. Yep. Okay.
Number 3, famous Italian noodle dish, pizza and hamburger cup.
It's got to be Garfield Kart.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Got to be Garfield.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So Garfield. All right. Number 4, the first console kart racer to give the player full control of track customization.
That's Mod Nation.
Is that mod?
Yeah,
that's mod. Nation.
That was to be right. Yeah,
that was the best part. Is track creation was so intense and deep and crazy.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5.
What?
Lucas would approve, but gamers did not like this one.
What were you going to say, Bill?
Oh, I was going to say, what system was that on? Mod Nation
PS3.
Racing.
PS3.
Okay.
Yeah, and PSP Vita maybe also.
I think PSP.
Yeah, one of those portable ones. But PS3 was the main console, and it's a really good kart racer. Tons of customization is the whole point, and then the track builder is you kind of like drive, and as you drive up and down and through around, it like makes the track behind you, and so then you just connect it back. Really clever way of
that's rad.
doing that. Yeah,
That sounds neat.
it is
Cool,
really
I'll check that
fun.
out.
It's cheap. Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay, sorry. So question 5.
5. Lucas would approve, but gamers did not like this one. I'm thinking that's Super Bombad Racing. George Lucas being the
Got it.
the Lucas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last game made by Lucas Learning. By the
Yeah,
way.
that's right.
Even
we
though
learned
it's
that.
not even remotely educational,
You learn how to fly a Bombad.
Yeah.
I guess. Number 6. This game is impossible to find for PS1 cheap on eBay. Was on the PS3 store for a hot second.
Let's see. It's got to be
PS1.
Is it Jax?
No.
Jax Racing X was a PS2 game.
Okay. Then
Motor Tune Grand Prix, I think.
I don't know what that one could be. I don't know anything about it.
Well,
we'll go back to that one.
That's the only
We'll go
one
back
that's
to that
PS1.
Is it? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, not Jack
Crash-
Racing, not
Oh, wait. Yeah, it was Crash Team.
not
Is it
Shrek.
just Crash Team Racing on PS1?
No, Crash Tag Team.
Tag Team was
Racing. That's the
PS2.
PS2 one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tag Team was PS2. I think Motor Tune. By default, I think Motor Tune also. Next one.
Okay, so Motor Tune Racing is what we'll go with for that one. Number 7, the minute you started this racing game, you could meld with your opponent. Is that Tag Team Racing?
I think that's got to be Tag Team, right?
Yeah. That makes sense. Meld.
All right, we'll go with Tag Team Racing, Crash Tag Team Racing. Number 8, Sony exclusive based on a dystopian world.
This one is
Missiles
Jack
give you an
Racing
event.
X.
That's
Yeah,
Jack
that's
X.
Jack, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's Jack. Yep.
And number 9, we only have one left to choose. You use pumpkins and tornadoes as weapons. Characters fart when they get a nitro boost at the beginning.
That's
That does sound like Shrek Kart. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Shrek
that's Shrek. Oh, that's Shrek.
Yes.
Always doing his thing.
all right.
Let's see how we did.
Do you want to do a quick recap of our answers, like quick fire?
Yeah. So number 1, level based on light gain shooter game. We
Sega
guessed
All-Stars.
Sega All Stars.
Yeah.
Number 2, Konami Kart or Konami Crazy Racers. Number 3, Garfield Kart Furious Racing.
Nice.
Number 4, Mod Nation Racers. Number 5, Super Bombad Racing. Number 6 was
That was Motor Tune.
that
Tune.
was
Motor
Motor Tune. Number 7, Crash Tag Team Racing. Number 8, Jack Racing X. Number 9, Shrek Kart.
All right.
So I have the answer key here. Number 1, the answer is Sega All Stars Racing.
Nice.
Number 2, answer F, Konami Crazy Racers. 2 for 2. Number 3, B, Garfield Kart. We got that one. Number 4, G, Mod Nation Racing. We're doing good. Number 5, E, Super Bombad Racing. Number
Nice.
6, A, Motor Tune Grand Prix.
All
That's
right.
the one I wasn't sure
Yeah,
about.
that was the one we were wondering
Number
about.
7, D, Crash Tag Team Racing. Number 8, C, Jack Racing X. Number 9, H, Shrek Kart.
We missed an opportunity to have Mike change his name again and just.
I know, we aced it. We
Yep.
could have
Well
got
done.
him to change his name.
We can make a request.
to something again, something ridiculous.
Motor Tune Grand Prix is like its own brand of like kind of like Looney Tunes, but they're not Looney Tunes. It's like their own thing. Like the cars are sentient. Actually, more like Roger Rabbit animation. Looks cool. There was a second one. Both on PlayStation.
What was Mike's name last time we got him to change it?
Amy Rose fan. Was that it?
That was one of them. I don't know if that was the last one
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good times. All right.
He went through on it. He's a good sport.
He is. Love you, Ambassador. Thanks for the game. And then, John, we've got a trivia card.
Yes. All right. You guys ready for this brain-busting trivia?
It might be. Sometimes it is.
All right. The Master System was an 8-bit games console released by which manufacturer?
Sega.
Bingo.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's try the other side.
This one actually might get you unless we have some fans here. Which species is Abe in the video game Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey?
Oh, man. How do I know this?
He's like a beetle.
Oh,
No. It's an alien species, not a...
Oh.
No, there's a name. It's got a name. It's an actual thing. Oh gosh, I can picture. My brother had a poster of Abe on his he pulled out a Game Pro or something on his wall for the longest time, and I'm just trying to envision that fish-looking creature. And what was it called?
Your brother had a poster of Abe?
It might have been a poster. So it was something we got out of a magazine. It was either a poster or an advertisement. I think it has something to do with farts, and he thought it was funny. I literally think that's what it was. He's 5 years younger than I am. Completely puerile,
Love it.
humor. But he had it on his wall for the longest time, and I cannot. I'm just seeing it right now.
Let's go with beetle.
Right.
Let's go with beetle
Give
on
up?
this one. No, it's definitely a beetle.
I give up.
It's Madokin.
Madokin. Yeah.
Hadouken. I wasn't
Might
going to
even
guess
be
that.
pronouncing that wrong, but that's what it looks like.
I wasn't-
Madokon.
I wasn't going to guess that in 2 million years, so.
No.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, nope.
We
50% on that one.
are just moments away from our big topic for the show. We're going to chat some E3. It's the death of E3. We're going to talk a little bit about the birth of E3 and some of our favorite memories. And then we got a little bit of Community Couch, and then we'll say sayonara. But for now, listen to this cool music and come right back. And we're back. And Bill, actually, you gave us this topic idea when I reached out in the community and I said, I need a host and I need a topic, or I need a guest and I need a topic. You jumped up and you said, me. And then I said, what do you want to talk about? And you said, I have no idea. And then we talked for a bit, and then E3 came out and we were like, okay, cool, let's do E3.
That makes sense. Perfect.
Because the news has been released that there will be no E3 this year. There wasn't an E3 last year. Actually, when was the last E3? Was it 2020 or 2019?
2019?
19.
Yeah.
19.
Been
Yeah.
gone for a little while now.
Yeah, and then like everybody just got over it, and now all the big players are doing their own things. Nobody needs E3 anymore. But so we thought it would be an appropriate topic for our show. We could talk a little bit about the history and stuff. So who wrote these notes? Sam, was that your notes?
That was me.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I knew what the deal with E3 was back when I wasn't paying attention to it. Because really, most of the E3s I wasn't really paying much attention to. So
perfect.
it started back in 1995. The thing I found interesting actually is the initial conference in 95 was a really large event, but it actually started struggling a lot the very year after. So in 1996, there seemed to be a trend. A lot of the Japanese companies just weren't really on board, and they were doing their own events. So Sony had their own. They had their own PlayStation Expo that year, and they're like, we don't need E3. We got a PlayStation Expo. And Sega actually pulled out at the last minute leaving Nintendo like the only major video game company that was there.
Wow.
Which I just found interesting.
96 is a big year too. That's N64.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Launch.
Yep.
Yeah. So 1997 and 98, it was actually held in Atlanta, Georgia, which I just thought was interesting because I figured it was always in California, but no, it was in Georgia for 2 years. I guess because of scheduling conflicts with the actual convention center. And they basically, you know, kind of built back up to that. They started flirting with a smaller scale event, basically trying to tighten things down so it was more an actual trade show for industry people to mingle, not as much a news, you know, press conference for big release news.
Well, that's dumb.
But that didn't stick. So they kind of blew back, and it was really, you know, after 2009 on, kept blowing it up bigger and bigger, and of course it was just a few years ago really that they really increased the accessibility to the public, where you didn't need a
2017 I think.
Yeah, I think like 17, where you, basically anybody, if you wanted to put the money down, you could buy a ticket to E3 and wait in line for demos all day.
It's interesting to me how the brand of E3, it's sort of it's very meaningful for like us, like the general like gaming fan public, but the industry side of it has just dropped out. Like they don't want it anymore, you know? So I wonder what value there is for the brand going forward, like if there's something for them in 2024 and what that even looks like, you know? Because part of
from that brief survey of history too, you kind of see there's always been sort of a tension between the, you know, is this an event for developers and you know, business people to mingle and, you know, hear pitches and, you know, find publishers, or is this an event for consumers to hear about upcoming releases and get hyped for them?
I think it's kind of had like a three-headed approach for a while. Like it's in those same questions, you know, is this for developers and publishers to get together to try to make something happen? Is this for the media to try to get information to pass on? Or is this for the consumer, you know, in the last couple of years, kind of like you mentioned, to actually get hands on things a little bit early and get impressions there?
It might have been the fact that it was almost exclusively for industry insiders that made the public sort of interested at all.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Part of my conversation with the former EGM editors, it was the conversation is going to be about E3. And we start talking about having this conversation before E3 was canceled. So now this conversation we're going to have is really going to be a retrospective of E3, like, because these are three people in the media who've been to, one of them I think has been to probably every E3 going, right? And so the conversation was going to be about, oh, you know, what were your favorite E3 moments, etc. Now it's going to be about where do we go from here?
Yeah.
And I think like y'all said, E3 can never quite figure out what they want to do. And I wonder now going forward, they either have to nail down this is what our identity is, or close up shop and forget about it. Because I don't think the industry really needs, the media doesn't need it. Media doesn't need a place to go and look at big fancy screens and the big overblown displays. The media doesn't, they get their press releases. We really don't, you know, they don't need that. Developers, I think there is a place for developers to do this sort of thing, but do developers really need it? Like AAA developers don't need to sit around and talk. However, I will say, I spend a lot of time at South by Southwest every year, and a big part of South by is the interactive. And that's what people are doing. It's all businesses and tech companies, and it's just people working and networking, going to panels and just doing business stuff.
Yeah,
you know, You know,
there's a story. There's a story about in my research for the upcoming video that I'm making about Metal Arms. They talked about how they basically made they got a booth and they made a whole press kit and demo for E3 specifically to attract a publisher, because they were an independent studio making their own first party games, like a third party game. Like it was an unknown IP, unknown studio who had done work for random studios in the past. And this was their first like outing, putting their neck out and saying like, here's something we made that we love. Will you publish this? And if it wasn't for E3, that would not have happened. That game would have been dead in the water in 2003 or whatever, you know? So I think in 2023, do those business interactions need a show floor anymore? Even that's kind of E3's dilemma.
I think it helps. I think the biggest group of people that this is going to hurt is the independent developers that are looking to be seen, because there really is there's no trade-off to that, you know, personable, you know, experience of being able to actually go talk to somebody. Yeah. You know, in random encounter of being able to even find somebody you weren't expecting. You know, it's one thing to go seek, you know, a publisher, but it's another thing for a publisher to come find you because you're getting the exposure. And because kind of what you said, this is, you know, Nintendo and Microsoft and PlayStation obviously don't need this. Like, they were the three big tent poles that were holding it up. But I really think that E3 is going to have to try to figure out some way to kind of rebrand themselves around an independent market, because the other three have figured out that they can just have a direct or, you know, some kind of, you know, online streaming presentation that gets all their information out in one whack. They don't have to pay for anything physically. They just produce a video and then they put it out, and it pretty much gets the same result.
Well, and even Nintendo found a way to rope in indies. You know, they have their own specific indie direct, and those are sometimes the best directs. You get surprised by something constantly on there.
They do, but those games already have publishers or, you know, exist.
Like, they definitely already have the attention of Nintendo.
Exactly. So I mean, this is more of someone that's, you know, especially a lot of these studios that are one person. Yeah. You know,
but I do think what that does show is the indie publishing space is very different now than it was back in 1995. Oh, yeah. That's still probably a viable option for some studios to, you know, get a booth at E3. But I mean, one of the things that's prevented a lot of them is getting a booth is expensive. And even more so if you're a studio that is nowhere near Los Angeles, California. You know, and look at those indie directs. I mean, we got studios from literally across the entire world that are working on games now. They were before too, but I mean, a lot of technology and infrastructure has shifted to make publishing easier through other means. It certainly is still a loss not having that show where you know, and where, you know, so many people are going to be at once.
And I think some of it's mitigated by the smaller shows that are put on that are, you know, kind of regional, like they were already mentioned, you know, PAX and South by and some of the other things that are going on. But I almost think that E3 is, you know, kind of got too big for its own pants, and like it's going to have to kind of downsize to be similar to these other shows in order to attract people back to it.
But then it's like, how do you differentiate yourself? You know, E3 used to be the show.
Yeah, I mean, and I think, and again, this is more going back to, again, my experiences with South by. It's kind of like South by Music, which is what I always cover every year, is that people are there to discover new bands. You know, 2,000 bands show up to Austin every year to do South by Southwest. They get paid next to nothing. It's horrendous what these, I can't even get into that. It's horrendous. Bands get paid next to nothing, but they're there to get exposure. Some record label person shows up at a showcase at Mohawk at 1 a.m. to see a band. That actually does happen, and bands do get signed and artists get signed. I think the key here for E3 is, like you guys said, they need to scale down. And honestly, I think they need to focus on community and innovation. If they can become a conference and a festival conference that focuses on innovation within the gaming space, let's focus on new tech, new let's not focus much on games. Games are important, but we can look at a trailer and see a game. I can't go to I can't experience something like it's like see something tech related. It's different when you see it in person at a show as opposed to just seeing a trailer. So what experiences can you give people? And I'm almost of the mindset I like the idea of people being there because I think that creates that community aspect. Because the only conventions I know that really, really work are the retro gaming ones.
Yeah.
We all go to retro gaming ones. Why do we go? A, because you buy stuff. There's cool stuff there.
Well, in that
Mostly
community, the community of retro gaming,
That's it.
And Sam, you always say this, it's so much more positive than most other gaming communities because we're all talking about, you only talk about stuff you love. It's like, I'm not here to shit on the new game.
All the people who don't love it moved on.
Yeah, exactly.
Only us crazies who love the stuff are left.
And that's why I think E3, I think would do well, focus on innovation and community, right? Getting people together, just like any retro video game convention that we'll go to, Classic Game Fest here in Austin or anywhere else. What do you have there? Right? You have music and you have like arcades and you have interactive things and you have panels. E3 could follow that formula and with their name and with stick, because this E3 is still a commodity. It's not a completely dead thing. They could revamp and redo it, but create a show that you can't easily replicate online with a trailer. You can't just have a giant video screen and show the latest trailer and expect people to go crazy because that's not going to happen anymore. You don't. And I agree with I forget who said it. It was John who said it. The indie developers are the ones who are likely going to miss out on this the most because they're the in-betweeners, right? They're the ones who could, hey, we have a little backing, we have a little heat, we could afford a small booth at E3, and maybe some publisher comes by and sees our stuff and says, wow, yeah, let's talk after, let's get lunch together tomorrow. Like that stuff I think is still important. But I think if E3 can pare down and focus on innovations, I think that would be a really cool angle to go at that I don't think a lot of other places are doing.
That's good.
And I think E3 kind of missed their chance, too, to be a digital-only show because they didn't really mold into that fast enough. And Summer Game Fest kind of hit that spot where it's a smaller, trailer-only type, media. So I don't think they can kind of go that direction.
At the end of the day, if all you want is trailers, like do
YouTube, man.
And just pre-record it, make it a quick, snappy pace, and do a Nintendo Direct. Basically, I mean, Nintendo kind of pioneered this, and everybody's doing it now. Like you get the PlayStation State of Play, and they might handle things a little bit differently, but like. I mean that really seems to be the future as far as the consumer facing side of it is you have trailers through these pre-recorded presentations that are much more succinct, much more well edited and tightly paced. You don't have to wait for people to walk up to the stage and walk back and kind of, and this is the thing too, that like the few times I watched actual press conferences, there was a lot of stuff that just was not of interest to me, even as a even just in general as a gamer. There's a lot of and there's a lot of people getting up, and because it is still a business thing, like they're still going to talk about how good sales numbers are, and I'm like, I don't care. What are you selling me? I'm not buying stock. I just want to buy the game.
Right.
And trying to do both those things at once is a waste of really everybody's time in some ways.
Right. Because I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
Oh no, I was just going to say, I think that one positive to kind of the big show going away is instead of getting your companies holding out for 1 date a year, 1 week a year to present the majority of their news, now you kind of get it spread out so you can kind of prepare to take it in, at a steady pace. I can only imagine being a media person and trying to cover E3, 1 week out of the year, and it's just like a 24-hour, work period for them for the whole week. Whereas now you get lots of smaller presentations over a course of the year.
As far as the, getting people hands-on, you would get games journalists that would play the demos and they would, give thoughts and impressions and reviews. But nowadays, you can put out a demo to literally everybody, and everybody can play about it and talk about it to each other, including the journalists and the YouTubers and the streamers and everybody.
Yeah, and no one has to leave home and risk of getting a disease or something, right? And stay home with the family. I just do think there is value though to that in person, seeing something experience. As I was kind of prepping for this a bit, I was going through because every IGN, Kotaku, all of them, they all have now their best E3 moments as they're writing their eulogies of E3, right? So all the articles are coming out, best moments.
Yeah.
And I'm going through them, and all the moments, it wasn't about the trailer, it was about the reactions to the trailer.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what was cool about E3, right? When Reggie Fils-Aimé shows up and you're like, oh, what's he going to say? Right? What's the live demonstration going to be? Is he going to do the Wii music and it be a failure? Like, there's a tension that comes with a live presentation like that a trailer is never going to have. You're just being presented a live demonstration. Is this going to work? Is this going to crash? There's like a tension to that is super cool that we're just going to be missing completely from this more curated experience. So I don't know, man. I would love to see an E3 that allows you to get hands-on tech and then bring community together. I think those are the two pieces. And the third E, I don't know. You guys make that up. You're obviously smarter than I am, but yeah, and that's kind of my thing. I was actually going to mention if y'all had any favorite E3 moments and if they ended up on people's lists, because I have 3 lists of top iconic E3 moments. I was wondering if y'all had any thoughts on what your favorite was. And we can do Kotaku, we could do Den of Geek, or we can do, what's this one? Oh, I don't know even what that site is. Who cares? But anyway.
I mean,
IGN.
so mine, it coincides with Reggie's first appearance at a Nintendo E3 in 2004, which is that Nintendo's showing and just whole vibe of the GameCube era up until that point had just been very lackluster and kiddish, right? And so there was some great games on the GameCube, and don't get me wrong, it was the melee machine for a lot of people. But I mean, you've got the PS2 and then the forthcoming Xbox, and it's just like you're not going to appease an adult who wants to play Grand Theft Auto onto a GameCube. You're just not. And so Reggie's boisterous entrance onto the stage, proclaiming that he's here to kick ass. He's here to take names, and we're about making games. And we were all just like, oh my gosh. And then that same E3, you get the announcement of the DS, and he holds one up. And then at the very end, you get Miyamoto coming out announcing Twilight Princess, the Zelda that everybody wanted. I think 2004 for me is still probably peak E3 as far as like announcements go. You get Reggie, the DS, and you get Twilight Princess. So that one's high on my list. Probably number 1.
Well, that was number 14 on Den of Geek's website, but Kotaku also listed it as well. And Reggie Fils-Aimé is just a monstrous human being.
Oh, yeah.
He's just a tall dude. He's
intimidating.
Figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. On one of my Zelda episodes, I chatted with a gentleman who worked on the Symphony of the Goddesses. He was their lead photographer and was at the E3 I think it was an E3, one of those events where they actually did the symphony live. And he was the only person in the building allowed to shoot it. So he was like the photographer for them and toured a bit. And he's met Reggie Fils-Aimé. And evidently he's intimidating, but really sweet and nice, but an imposing figure in person. So
I bet.
Take that as, yeah. But so that was number 14 on Den of Geek.
That should have been higher than that.
Listed it as well. I can tell you what their number 1 is after we go through it if you.
Yeah, I want to know later. What about you, John? Any E3 moments that pop out?
This is where Sam and I were talking a little bit before you guys got on. I generally don't watch a whole lot of E3. I haven't.
Come on.
I haven't, man. It's
you're so weird.
I was telling Sam, I don't think that I maybe watched. I don't ever even watch the event live. Like I'll go back and just kind of read about the stuff that was announced afterwards, but even like, I mean, probably Breath of the Wild's the announcement for that's probably like one of the big ones, and then the long wait afterwards, but I don't really have any like huge moments that I can
All right.
think of.
What about you, Sam?
On me.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like John. I mean,
I have another one. If it's just going to be me and Bill talking about E3,
I think so. Yeah,
a lot of this goes back to, I didn't have my own computer until 2010, so I was not going to hog the family computer to.
Yes, you are.
I also wasn't even really all that aware of.
I would have hogged the family computer. That's me. Get off the phone.
The one that I can remember the best, I guess it's the strongest reaction I had, which is kind of funny, was the 2011 E3 when they announced the Wii U, and I was just I was kind of the entire time walking through because I was excited about new Nintendo, but then it was the Wii U, and I was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, what is this?
Especially, I'm like, I don't think I want to buy this thing. And then they just said Smash Bros, and I'm like, dang it, I'm going to buy one of these stupid things.
Yep.
And I did.
Kit and what's her name?
Krista.
Kit and Krista's recounting of their the whole experience of the Wii U at Nintendo is just such a great listen, because the whole time they're just like, are we really gonna do this? Is this how you're gonna? Okay, I guess this is what we're doing. The whole time they're questioning it and trying to figure out what the marketing team is doing and not really sure. And it's just such a great. They have a whole 2-hour podcast talking about it. I recommend listening to that if you are a Wii U fan. Because it's pure gold, just inside Nintendo stuff during that era. I didn't actually watch that E3 at all. That was a period of my life where I was not into gaming, a brief period. But I remember in my mind, can almost watch the entirety of the 2013 or 14. The Star Fox Zero E3 with the puppets, because that whole direct was a giant meme. They just did so much silly stuff that whole time, and I was like, this is my Nintendo. This is what I like. I want them to not take themselves too seriously and to just give me some silly stuff, and to be really self-aware about it. Plus that I was incredibly hyped for Star Fox Zero, so that helped a lot. And that's all I'll say about Star Fox Zero on this podcast.
I actually did just think of another one, and it was actually the post-conference E3 stuff, and that was in 2017 when they announced ARMS, and they were demoing ARMS. They might have announced it earlier, actually. But when they were showing off ARMS, they had a tournament to do it, and everybody's initial impression of ARMS was, oh, this is just Wii boxing, this is some casual, whatever, doesn't take any skill. They had some players play it, and they had the developer, Mr. Yabuki, I think his name is, works on Mario Kart as well.
Yep.
Come out and play the guy who won the tournament, and he just demolished him. And that was just such a good way of selling the game. There is,
here's the skill
I will
level.
say, ARMS is not it's not Street Fighter, right? But you will, and a lot of people found that when they played the game, if you don't know what you're doing, you will get destroyed.
Yeah.
This is a competitive game of sorts. And it was the most effective way to disabuse people of that notion that this is just a, waggle fest that doesn't mean anything.
Love that.
Still waiting on ARMS too.
Arms, legs.
Yeah, legs.
Bill, why don't you give us some numbers on the top A3 moments list?
Yeah, so I can run through them real quick. This is all from Den of Geek. What Culture had one as well, but it wanted me to click through a slideshow. That's not going to happen, What Culture. I'm not giving you 20 clicks. So we'll just roll through the Den of Geek. Number 20 was Metroid Prime 4, which was one of the most recent ones.
You mean the logo?
Literally, the logo. I know.
That's listen, everything wrong with these announcements.
Okay,
I know. Yeah,
losing their minds over a logo.
It was the logo of
a game that doesn't exist.
Still,
I know, and who knows if ever will. Number 19 was the Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and that's when the when Miyamoto name checked the developer of Rabbids, and he actually got very emotional in the crowd, and he was.
Aww.
Shigeru Miyamoto mentioned his name as someone who. He just mentioned his name, and he was extremely emotional. It was a really cool moment.
I remember that.
The PlayStation 4 reveal. I remember that one because that was the big, PS4 versus Xbox One, and everyone was sniping back and forth about trading games. If you remember, that Sony had that wonderful little series of here's how to trade a game, and he hands a game to the person next to him.
Yep.
17 would be Keanu Reeves for Cyberpunk 2077. That didn't age well. Number 16. Yeah, I mean, well, I've never played it. I obviously we all know what happened with Cyberpunk and the whole story behind it, but there was a lot of hype for it. There was a lot of extreme hype, and it was a cool moment.
Your breath.
Number
a
16
big thing in recent years to have. I guess it's because we the technology of putting actors into games and stuff, but that was. I feel kind of weird about that though, like the trotting out the actor to. I mean, yes, it's. I don't know. There's just a part of me that I almost have this like hostile reaction to like anything that's like, oh, we want you to like this by association. Kind of.
Yeah, I get that.
It's a tactic. It's a marketing tactic, and it works. And I guess
I'd be curious.
That it works is what bothers me.
I'd be curious to see how well it works. Like, there's got to be some metric out there that shows. How well a game sold based on, having a famous actor in it versus not having it, type stuff. Somebody's looked at it. Is it really worth paying that guy like that much money? Like he's making probably easily 20 times more than all the voice actors combined.
Yeah. And most, and the developers and the developers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not to get into a complete side conversation, but I think video games out of every medium has a little brother syndrome and has had it for decades. I think they desperately want to be Big Brother, big Hollywood movies. So that's why when they'll get the big actor to voice somebody, they got to trot that person out. Every marketing thing has that person. Because I think video games are still desperately trying to fit in at the big boys table with music and movies and TV.
Even though it's a bigger industry than all of those.
Even though it's a much bigger industry, and that's the little brother thing. That's the little brother.
The next Mario game is going to be announced by Chris Pratt.
Oh, no question. Jack Black is going to put on a silly hat. And Chris Pratt will walk out there.
At least Jack Black will put on the silly hat.
At least he'll put on the silly hat. Yes, Seth Rogen won't do any of it. He won't even. I know. Seth Rogen won't even put on a Donkey Kong tie. He's not going to make that happen for you. But there is definitely a weird little brother situation with gaming, even though it is, of course, one of the most popular, tech things on the planet. So anyway, that could be a whole other topic in itself. Number 16 was Grand Theft Auto 4's reveal for the Xbox 360. Evidently some guy showed up with a tattoo in his arm. I don't remember that one.
Nope.
Don't remember that one. Number 15, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic reveal in 2001. Because it was kind of right after Phantom Menace, and I think people were a smidge kind of uncertain about what a Star Wars game would look like in that era. Number 14, Reggie Fils-Aimé revealing himself to the world.
Should be higher.
Resident Evil 7 reveal at E3 2016. Was that a big deal?
I don't know. I'm kind of done with this list. Like most of it's like,
Well, here, let's go down to let's go down to
the top 5.
I guess it's the Nintendo fan in me because I can't really think of hardly anything.
That's probably what it is too.
From anyone else.
That's fair, and I think. Well,
other than maybe some odd meme things.
Giant enemy crab.
Now that it was brought up, I definitely remember. I definitely remember Cyberpunk and him coming out.
There's a great list about cringe.
Beautiful or whatever.
Yeah. There's a great list about cringe stuff, but we're going to keep it positive here, even though
let's do our top 5. Let's do their top 5.
Let's do the top 5 according to these jokers here. Top 5, Killzone 2. That was not an era when I was really 2005. Wasn't game more. Half-Life 2 reveal.
Okay,
2003.
Half-Life 2
that is biggie.
Cool.
Halo 2. Was number 3 on the list. Number 2, of course, was The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess.
Yes,
which I'm surprised. Which is number 2, and number 1, Metal Gear Solid 2.
Okay,
that was a big deal. Yeah, I mean, again, I mean, I was definitely more a Nintendo person than anything else. So for me, those things washed over. But sometimes I have an idea for a bit and it doesn't pan out. But
it's
what?
all
At
good.
least you got us talking about moments.
It's all good. And that's why we record these live and don't edit that stuff out, because people come here for the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Fantastic.
We also, it's because I'm lazy, but whatever.
Yeah.
We all have our process. Good stuff. Well, guys, thanks for having this E3 chat. We're going to jump on over and have a seat on our community couch where we'll answer a few questions, and we'll do that in just a bit. Welcome back. We're here on the cozy community couch with our buddy Bill, just hanging out. Anybody pulling anything out of the couch today? I got an action figure that I've been missing out of the couch between the cushions.
At my house, it's usually like stale popcorn that the kids dropped
like a month ago.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Hud, when's the last time we had goldfish in the house?
I know,
it's like half a packet of goldfish. When she's trying to eat it, sweetie, don't eat that packet of goldfish.
No, the worst is one time we found a banana.
Oh.
I mean, probably
that's no good.
Probably 3 months, and it's just
Banana
black
jerky.
And took over that part of the couch. And this is why
it's a real banana horde.
Yeah,
it's all that Donkey Kong.
This is why
taking over your life.
Real, in real life. This is why we don't buy new furniture. We're just like, we're gonna wait till they're older, and then we're gonna get nice furniture for us. Yep. That's that's what you do.
Yep.
We have a question from Stevens NES in the community. He says, does anyone else have an example of this? A genre of a game that they played as a kid that is now secretly morphed into their favorite. His example was Metroid, where he discovered Metroidvanias. He didn't really know what a Metroidvania was, but then he grew up and realized, oh, this is a whole thing, and now I love this genre. What do you guys think? My answer was Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Because I played StarCraft and Warcraft and like those kind of like real-time strategy stuff, but I had never played a tactics like a grid-based tactics RPG before, and that game like hard sucked me in and really, really got me into the genre. And then after that, I would play things like Front Mission DS, and then Advance Wars, and I think that game got me into Advance Wars. Actually, I was like, oh, is this like this? And it wasn't, but it's similar enough. It's kind of the best of both worlds, like real-time turn-based strategy. And up until today, I still love turn-based tactics, RPG type games. So yeah, what about you guys? Anything pop up where it's like,
I mean, in some sense, every genre you like, you had to play a game first without really knowing what it was.
I mean, it's true.
I guess if you walk in, later, like you might pick up Metroid Dread today because you hear people talk about how great Metroidvanias are, so you might be approaching it with a different mindset.
I'm almost thinking like I love Toe Jam and Earl, and so now I like roguelikes, It's like,
right.
Well, I kind of view his question as like he played Metroid as a kid and didn't really think much of it, and then now like it's one of his favorite genres.
It became that game created the genre in a way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
so how about this question from Flightsy? He says, what do you think of my glorious return to Discord? Well, gosh darn it, Flightsy, anytime you post something on the Discord, I get butterflies in my stomach. So I anxiously await the next thing you're going to say or post. That's just for me. What about you guys?
Well, not everybody takes a little break and then comes back and responds to everything that's happened.
Yeah, we should have recorded before the episode.
Only Flightsy can do that.
But I love being reminded of what I said 6 months ago and seeing you respond to it. It really just brings me back, It's good.
6 months ago.
Love it.
I don't think it was gone that long.
We love you, Flightsy, and we're so glad you're here. That's what we mean to say. You're a treasured member of the community.
Flighty just won Excite Truck, man. He's gonna have something to do.
Oh yeah,
when he gets back home.
I love Excite Truck. Bill, are you an Excite Truck fan?
I haven't really played it much, to be perfectly honest.
All
so
right.
I don't. I'm not super familiar with it.
Yeah, it's cheap. Go pick it up for your Wii. Give it a roll, because it is in 2-player too. It's probably one of my favorite launch title games, like, of all time. Just cool. Stupid truck racing fun with motion controls, and it works really
fantastic.
Well. Yeah, good stuff.
Cool, awesome, man.
Yeah, we gave away a copy of Excite Truck in the Discord. John did for our Free Stuff Friday. So that's what you're missing out on if you're not in the RetroLogic Discord. So before we go, I want to give Bill an opportunity to tell everyone where they can hang out with him on the internet, and where his show is, and what his show is, and kind of who he is a little bit. So Bill, why don't you take it away for a while and tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks, man. So, as mentioned before, I'm the host of a podcast entitled A Gamer Looks at 40. It's a oral history of video games as told through the stories and recollections of the people who lived through it, right? So, a lot of shows, we like to talk about, nuts and bolts and why games work. What my show attempts to do is get to the heart and soul of the genre or the medium, as opposed to the nuts and bolts. Letting people like our fine Dan over here and other people in the community and our extended communities get on and talk about the games and moments and systems and genres that affected them personally. Then we also talk about why things work and why they don't work. But when the show is really clicking is when people are sharing those personal stories. So that's kind of what I like to do on my podcast. Like I mentioned earlier, just finished up a very long Zelda retrospective where we literally went through and discussed every mainline Zelda game and touched on a few that aren't so mainline, and just tons of stories and personal recollections, and a few lives literally changed because of the Legend of Zelda franchise. And again, like I said, when the show is doing that, it's really clicking. So I'm on Twitter is the main place where I hang my hat social media wise. I'm on Instagram. I have a small TikTok that I'm trying to figure out how these kids use the TikTok thing.
You're brave.
I don't know. Every time I log on a TikTok, I almost get a panic attack. It's just people shouting at me and cutting really, really fast. Stop shouting and stop cutting really, really fast. But I've been posting small episode segments on there with some gameplay audio behind it or video behind it. And, it's fun stuff like that. Anyway, so Twitter's my main spot. I'm working on a website, finally. Should probably have one of those. But anywhere you listen to podcasts, A Gamer Looks at 40. I, too, have a Discord. I don't know how to make a static link, though, but there is one in my link tree on the bio of my Twitter. See how good I am at this? I'm terrible at the marketing of this particular show.
There's a slider you can adjust to make it a permanent
done the
link.
slider, but it never, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'll have to link up with you guys later to figure out why my dumb static link is not working as it should be. But yeah, so if you enjoy retro video games and you enjoy people telling stories about them, A Gamer Looks at 40. It's what I do on that show. So please check it out. Love to have you check it out.
Highly recommended. If you're a fan of this show, you should be listening to A Gamer Looks at 40. Just one of my favorite shows, Bill.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I know it's going to take you like years to get through Final Fantasy, but when you get to Dragon Quest, give me a call.
I got you, man. I got you. I'm always up for, and honestly, and if for those of you listening, if you have like a personal story about video games, or I'm all about doing one-off episodes or just little collection shows where I have 3 or 4 stories on there, completely unrelated. Feel free to reach out to me on Twitter. My DMs are open, or A Gamer Looks at 40 at Gmail. Reach out. I'll get you on the show. We'll talk for Dan's been on the show a bunch, so he knows how easy it is to get on there. We just talk about games, and yeah, it's a good time. So if I am all about being as inclusive as humanly possible, you don't need a fancy mic. I've done episodes with people on their phone outside of their place where they work. I did an episode on I tried to find somebody who won a Nintendo Power Grand Prize. I went on a quest to find somebody who won these damn things. And I emailed probably, because you can go through like Internet Archive and find all the, so I went through I have an Excel sheet of every Nintendo Power contest, and then look forward to and who won it. And I tried to find every person. I emailed them, just doing searches and such. And I found one person.
Wow.
Who got back to me, who won a trip to see this at the filming of RoboCop 2 when he was like 11. And it's one of my favorite episodes because this is a memory he hasn't had in 20 years. But I emailed him out of nowhere, hey, are you the guy who as a kid saw RoboCop 2? And he's like, and we had this conversation, and he was outside of he works at a convenience store or someplace, and he was outside of work on his lunch break talking to a phone. But that's how we did it. And It's one of my favorite episodes because him telling the story of this is what happened. They flew us out here and Nintendo treated him really well. Like they made an experience for him. It was super cool. So
that's cool.
That is all that to say. It doesn't mean you don't have to be a podcaster or a YouTuber or a streamer. I love chatting with regular people about the heart and soul of the medium because I don't think that's discussed enough. So yeah, hit me up.
Agreed.
Love to have you.
Nice. Awesome, Bill. Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. We'll definitely have to have you back. And next episode, guys, is 100. And we've got a bit of a treat for you guys. We're going to have we're going to have every host that's available that night on. And I believe it should be everyone, but if we're missing one or two people, because now that we have FilmLogic, it's what? 7 of us now? So, yeah.
It's a crowd.
8.
Oh my God! I hope some of them can't make it.
That's a whole Octopath Traveler posse.
Jeez, we'll have to assign. I don't know what we'll do. We're gonna try to. So what I think we landed on this idea. I'm gonna say it because I'm pretty sure we did this. We're gonna try to do our top 5 collectively. Our top 5 or 10 Super Nintendo games as a community of hosts, which I don't know if it's going to be in 1 hour or 10 hours, but we're going to figure it out. So stay tuned for that and when that's going to come up. And again, thanks to Bill and thanks to you for listening to the RetroLogic podcast. We are proudly part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. If you like what you hear, check me out on Twitter at RetroLogic Games. You're also welcome to jump into our friendly and 100% non-toxic Discord community. The link to that is in my Twitter bio, as well as the website, retrologic.games, where you can find links to all the things that I talked about tonight. As well as merch. If you want to buy a t-shirt, I'm not going to stop you. They're there. We have coasters now. John put coasters together. We have merch from all the different shows. So go spend some money on us if you feel inclined. You got $30 laying around. That's just collecting dust. Maybe toss us some money. We'll give you a t-shirt. Anywho, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.
I know.
Thanks for listening.
Anybody have to go tinkle? No? All right.
No tinkling. Good for me.
I'm really gassy. I don't know if anybody's been hearing my farts, but they're potent. So just be glad you can't smell through the
Well, lately I have so much gas when I wake up in the morning. I just wake up, I go to the shower and I fart for 10 minutes. I don't get it.
It's just all been built up all night.
It's your muffins, man.
Everything's just sitting there, just gestating, just disgusting.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, let's jump into the show here.